The nation was rocked by news of a staggering $2.5 billion theft just before the funds were due to be handed over to the government. In this piece, let's delve into the intricacies and complexities surrounding such a significant event and explore the origin and acquisition of the money, as well as the individuals or entities responsible, shedding light on the political systems that enable such occurrences. Iraq has a long history of corruption, with the political elites and system being dubbed a kleptocracy. The country is one of the world's most corrupt, ranked 153rd out of 180 countries investigated by Transparency International. In the period from September 2021 to August 2022, 5 companies stole $2.5 billion from the General Commission of Taxes account at Rafidain Bank by cashing in checks they were not entitled to. This heist, known as the heist of the century, is the largest in Iraq history. The current elites in Iraq's political system require state revenue to survive and maintain their position. They have private armies, patronage, and private media apparatuses that require massive funding. Iraq, as a rentier state, derives a significant portion of its income from outside sources, namely oil. The Iraqi state is the primary recipient and thus the primary source of revenue in the country. As a result, one of the most common types of corruption in Iraq is pork barrel, or in other words, taking state money and distributing it to patrons and constituencies. This is the primary means of patronage and the most effective strategy for winning elections in the country. The pork barrel is used to fund private armies, patronage, and private media apparatuses. The heist of the century was facilitated by some of the highest offices in the land, according to sources and a series of government documents. The embezzlement, equivalent to around 2.8% of the 2021 state budget, was uncovered by auditors and is considered remarkable, even for a country like Iraq that has long grappled with rampant corruption. The scheme was reportedly orchestrated by a broad network of officials, civil servants, and businessmen with links to powerful political factions. The theft came to light when an internal audit by the Finance Ministry revealed that 5 companies had fraudulently drawn refunds without depositing anything, draining down the actual balance of the account to $100 million from around $2.5 billion. The money was laundered through real estate purchases in Baghdad's most affluent neighborhood, according to multiple sources. The investigation into the embezzlement has led to the arrest of a well-connected businessman, Noor Zuhair Jassim, who allegedly received over $1 billion from the account. 2 officials at the tax authority have also been detained, and the judiciary has seized several properties and millions of dollars in assets. However, officials believe that an embezzlement scheme of this scale could not have unfolded without the knowledge of higher-ups. The Iraqi government has pledged to recover the stolen funds and has taken legal action against those involved. The country's Federal Commission of Integrity has also formed a Supreme Commission to investigate corruption cases deemed a significant threat to the state. Despite these efforts, Iraq remains one of the most corrupt countries in the world, ranked 157th out of 180 nations on Transparency International's 2021 Corruption Perceptions Index. The elaborate heist involving a well-connected businessman and employees within the tax commission, allegedly supported by an Iran-aligned political faction called Badr, reveals a complex network of complicity. This scheme, which required the involvement of various institutions like the Prime Minister's office, the bank facilitating the withdrawals, the Integrity Commission, and the Central Bank, could not have transpired without a broader circle of knowledge and collaboration. Leaked documents and insider interviews suggest a systemic involvement of high-ranking officials and powerful entities within the country, indicating a widespread network facilitating such grand-scale corruption. Former members of parliament and other sources, speaking anonymously due to fear of reprisal, emphasize that such a massive theft could not have been orchestrated by individuals alone. They highlight a web of complicity involving influential politicians and heads of departments, suggesting a coordinated effort where everyone benefits from the illicit gains. The scandal, unveiled by the outgoing government of Prime Minister Kadhimi amidst a political power struggle between rival Shia factions, underscores the pervasive nature of corruption in Iraq's political landscape. The transition of power to a new Shia-led government further complicates the situation, with mutual accusations and corruption investigations often serving as tools to undermine opponents rather than promote transparency. In Iraq's consociational democracy, corruption is deeply entrenched, with government positions distributed among parties to sustain patronage networks. This heist, occurring under Kadhimi's administration, stands out as a significant instance of corruption, shedding light on the intricate web of collusion and systemic issues within the country's governance structures. State capture in Iraq, a deeply ingrained issue, reportedly intensified under the leadership of Mustafa al-Kadhimi, a former spy chief and journalist who garnered Western support for his pledge to curb the influence of Iran-aligned military factions like Badr. Despite this backing, Kadhimi, lacking a strong political base, faced pressure from parties and armed groups vying for control over lucrative government positions. Allegations suggest that under Kadhimi's tenure, the division of roles deepened, potentially as a strategy to maintain power. Claims of increased interference in institutions like the Tax Commission, once more independent, have surfaced. While Kadhimi's office refutes these accusations, reports indicate that some of his associates had close ties to a businessman allegedly involved in the embezzlement scheme. A significant event preceding the theft was a proposal by Haytham al-Jabouri, the former head of the Parliament's Finance Committee, to eliminate the Audit Chamber's oversight of withdrawals from the Tax Commission's accounts due to procedural delays. Intriguingly, Jabouri later became an advisor to Kadhimi, raising questions about the circumstances surrounding his appointment. Dia al-Musawi, another figure linked to the scandal, appointed by Kadhimi to a key role, is currently evading corruption charges. This intricate web of events underscores the complex dynamics at play in Iraq's governance, where corruption and power struggles intertwine, posing challenges to accountability and transparency. The accounts in question held substantial tax deposits made by foreign companies operating in Iraq, which could be reclaimed upon presentation of financial statements. However, due to the cumbersome process, most companies opted not to pursue the funds, resulting in a growing pool of unclaimed money. The decision to discontinue the audit should have raised concerns for an administration that had pledged to combat corruption. Nevertheless, the Audit Chamber and the Prime Minister's office did not object, as per the former Finance Committee member. "It was part of the strategic plan," he stated. The execution of the scheme required the cooperation of insiders within the Tax Commission, who had the authority to issue checks. According to 4 sources within the Finance Ministry, the former Tax Commission director, Shaker Mahmoud, established this network. Mahmoud reportedly ordered the termination of the audit based on a letter from the Prime Minister's office and a conversation with the Audit Chamber. Following this, Mahmoud was reassigned to the Customs Commission, where suspicions of a similar scheme exist. Mahmoud could not be reached for comment. Mahmoud and the scheme's perpetrators received support from Badr, an Iran-aligned party that holds sway over senior appointments in the Tax and Customs Commissions, according to 7 sources. The directors were also subject to the Prime Minister's approval, as per a 2020 decree. Although then Finance Minister Ali Alawi authorized the appointments, officials within the Finance Ministry claimed that he had limited influence over staffing. 2 of his nominees declined director positions after receiving threats from Badr. Alawi couldn't dismiss anyone because Badr wouldn't allow it, and he didn't receive support from the Prime Minister's office, said one official. The Prime Minister's office has refuted any involvement in the theft. This entire operation took place within the Finance Ministry. It began in the Tax Commission and concluded at the government-owned Rafideen Bank, both of which fall under the Finance Ministry's jurisdiction, said Kadhimi's former chief of staff. In July 2021, the Tax Commission initiated a significant financial move by issuing checks worth millions of dollars to 5 companies over 14 months. These checks were cleared through one branch of the Rafidin Bank, located at the Tax Commission, and the funds were deposited into the company's accounts before being promptly withdrawn, which had an impact on the bank's liquidity. However, this activity did not go unnoticed, and Alawi took action by issuing a decree in November 2021 to prevent withdrawals without his approval. Despite these measures, the transactions continued behind closed doors. The Rafidin Bank's anti-money laundering unit identified the transactions as a potential issue, but it seems that no action was taken by Rafidin or Iraq's central bank. One banking official expressed concern about the large sums being requested by one branch, which should have raised questions. The absence of a core banking system and a single treasury account made it difficult to track the rapid movement of funds. Employees who spoke out about the issue were reportedly penalized, according to sources. However, a hotline was available for staff to report abuse to the Integrity Commission, a body responsible for investigating corruption. Despite this, when a whistleblower reported the issue, the commission quickly issued a statement downplaying the significance of the withdrawals. Frustrated by the situation, Alawi resigned in August and warned of a vast octopus of corruption and deceit that threatened to consume the country. His successor ordered an inquiry, but this led to a backlash in Parliament, resulting in his removal. The case now presents an opportunity for Sudanese new government to take action against those implicated in the scheme, including members of the alliance that brought him to power. Sudan has vowed to hold everyone accountable, regardless of their position or status. So far, the judiciary has seized 55 properties and 250 mailers in assets, with a businessman and 2 officials from the tax authority currently under arrest. Additionally, 2 arrest warrants and 9 travel bans have been issued against company directors and civil servants. The investigation is ongoing, and a judge at a Baghdad investigative court has stated that there is currently no evidence of high-level officials' involvement. Despite these actions, many Iraqis remain skeptical about the prospect of genuine accountability. Some believe that lower-level officials will be blamed, while higher-level officials will escape punishment. If you enjoyed watching the video, don't forget to like and share. For more such content, subscribe to our channel right away. See you soon in the next video.